Hey guys, Cole here. Welcome to another Raid Challenges video, guys. This one will be a guide, a showcase more for ROBAR. ROBAR is one of the most recent champions that I picked up from just opening shards. Can't remember which one exactly it was, but yeah, I picked this guy up. I wasn't too excited because I already had so many orcs for factions, for everything. But this champion is quite unique because he has some fun skills. And if you did just get him, then I'll be showcasing what he can actually do. So let's go over his skills first, and then we'll come back to the gear and go to the Masteries, and then finally just showcase him wherever we can. So first up, Stunning Strength is his A1, attacks one enemy, 50% chance of placing a stun debuff for 1 turn. Grants an extra turn if this debuff is successfully placed. So this is very unique for a champion, guys. I think there's no champion out there where he can gain an extra turn at this high percent chance. From a single target skill. We do have Rotos, but I think his chance to get an extra turn is not as high as ROBAR. So ROBAR does need to get some accuracy so he can land this stun. This can be increased by another 5% if you want to go the Masteries route instead. For defense. So if you go defensive route, you can get another 5%, but then you'll be missing out on stuff like Helm Smasher or Flawless Execution. So I recommend not going for those. So stun, if you book it out, it just gives you extra damage. So going over his A2 Wild Swing, attacks all enemies, 75% chance to place a 60% decreased defense debuff for 2 turns, 3 turns cooldown if you book it out, and a 100% chance if you book it out. So it does take 5 books. Legendary books are not easy to get. This brings in the more supporting aspect of ROBAR. Instead, if you want to go with more accuracy, so you can land those decreased defense and stun, then you can go with that instead of going the all attack route. So you can benefit from his A3. This is a great skill to have. 3 turns cooldown is low. It's good, but you need to book it out with legendary books, which are much harder to get. And then finally, Merciless Assault, attacks all enemies, damage increase if the target is under sleep, stun, or freeze debuffs. So this is great. It's like a 4.2 damage multiplier. So depending on what kind of stats you've got, 4.2 plus 50% if the conditions, one of these conditions is match, sleep, stun, or freeze. But remember, guys, freeze also decreases damage taken by the target by 25%. So you will essentially be getting only a 25% damage boost by using ROBAR. So instead, you would rather go with the stunner or sleep champion. So there's not many of them out there, especially stun at, let's say, 100% chance. I think only Astrodon does have that when he's fully booked, though, so not when he's not booked. There's other champions that are more accessible, like Sal of the Drakes, which does have a stun, but it's not 100% chance. I think it's 30 or 35% chance when she's fully booked out as well. So this is a cool skill. And then finally, his aura, increase ally accuracy in faction crypts by 50. This is good if you want to use him in faction crypts. Mine are I did mine today, so I can't showcase him there, but definitely a cool champion to have to use for faction crypts because of his utility, damage, and his aura as well. So artifacts, let's go over his artifacts. Total stats overall, I went for 4.5k attack, 182 speed, which is very hard to get on him because he has a very low speed base. 87 speed base compared to many other champions. He has one of the lowest speeds that you can get, especially on a legendary champion, unfortunately. 100% crit, 233 critical damage. So you don't need more than 100% crit. I did went over just because of the gear that I had. Just try to get 100%. So accuracy 215, you can get that higher depending on where you want to go. Want to go Doom Tower, you need higher. You want to go Faction Wars and Dungeons, that's fine, especially with the aura for Faction Wars. You can even go a bit lower. But if you want to go arena, honestly, accuracy does not have a limit. A good amount of accuracy will be about around 400 for arena if you want to be going for the stuns and the defense downs. But honestly, the only reason you want to be going for 400 accuracy would be just to land stuns on more squishy targets that don't go for more resistance compared to, let's say, arbiters, CFs, duchesses that might go way higher resistance, so they can resist more debuffs. So you will possibly be landing your debuffs only on all other targets. I had on him, I have a divine speed and a perception set on him, and then because I was lacking some critical rate, I did just put 2 random pieces of lifesteal that did have more critical rate, so I could get to close to 100% crit rate. So In terms of rings, I do have this attack ring on. I tried to find one with attack percent, but this is the one that I actually had. And then let's go over to the amulet. That's a critical damage amulet at 40%. That's 6-star. And then for the banner, I went for an attack banner with an attack percent substat. But if you want to have some more accuracy, you would of course go a 6-star banner with accuracy. So you would get him to about 300 accuracy, which should be fine for almost all content, even the Doom Tower hard. Doom Tower hard is about 325 to 350 to be on the safe side, but for Faction Wars you would need way less because of his lead also, if you're going to be using him in the lead. Then finally, let's go over the masteries that I have on ROBAR. Masteries are very specific on this guy. Health Smasher, just to get that extra damage from when it does proc, 50% chance to ignore 25% of the target's defense. Love that. And I also picked up this one, Opportunist. This is very, very specific. Increased damage inflicted to targets with a stun, sleep, fear, true fear, or freeze debuffs by 12%. So this actually, it goes very well with ROBAR and how his A3 works. So if you do have a setup with him that applies a stun, sleep, fear, true fear, or freeze, then ROBAR will come in and nuke the enemies down. And then support tree, I went, of course, the accuracy route and did get Evil Eye instead, because you might be going in for that special, reduction in Terminator. He also has a way to stun people. So if you do get the stun, the reduction in Terminator doesn't matter. But well, yeah, this does matter if you don't get the stun. So I do prefer Evil Eye in general for more dungeon fighting. It does work in arena as well, but more for dungeons, so you can control the waves with all enemies that do have this, because this also works for most of the bosses except the dragon. Then finally, Master Hexet. This is for his defense down. This doesn't work with stuns. Is written right here, so be very careful about that. So first up, let's go into the arena. I will be using my Gerbtug here first, who does apply a freeze. So ideally, I will freeze the enemies, and then ROBAR will go in there for the clear. But remember, the freeze does reduce the amount of damage that we get to deal to the enemies, and unfortunately that will decrease what we can do. But because of how ROBAR works, he also gets a boost if the enemy is stunned, plus his mastery. So overall, we'll be at a better position than most other nukers. So here we freeze. We even get an extra turn here. Ooh, killed somebody. And then let's just get an extra turn. See how slow this guy is. So now we'll go with Merciless Assault. Damage increase if the target is under stun, sleep, or freeze debuffs. Let's go. See what we can do here. So 95,000, not that much. I do expect this to be way, way higher if we go in there with a stun champion, because the 25% damage reduction limitation that freeze does apply. So ROBAR should be getting a turn next. There we go. 37,000 on his A1. Nothing too crazy about that. So let's find another team, and then here we'll use somebody that can stun instead. So guys, now I'm going to be using Salvadrex for the stun, so we can see the difference in damage. Of course, she doesn't have a 100% chance to stun. I do have Astralon, who has like a 75% chance to stun, but because he's a nuker, I would need to change his gear around to have him only with accuracy, so I could showcase just ROBAR's damage. So let's go in there with Salvadrex. I do have Miscreated Monster as well. I mean, I could have done that. So here we'll just reduce defense here, and hopefully we'll get some stuns. We did get 2 stuns here, so don't really need to hit anybody. And now we've got to see some damage, because Arbiter was too fast. She got the stun removed, but we're gonna see some damage here, and that's an unfortunate thing about how ROBAR works. So because he's so slow and targets like Arbiter, she removed the stun, basically lost her turn, but she also lost the stun debuff. So that 50% damage difference is lost as well. So let's see how much we do here. So 75,000. That's not that much. I mean, we did way more before. So let's see this again. Let's find another team. Let's find this one. So the multiplier for his A3 is 4.2 plus 50%. So that makes it almost a 6. 6 multiplier if you do have the stun on the target. So here we get 4 stuns going, and then we're gonna have the maximum benefit on everyone. I just love the stun animation, by the way. Just look at them just sitting like that. I just love it. So let's see how much damage we can do here. Okay, over 100,000. I mean, it is conditional to having that stun debuff on. And then finally, let's just go in to a team versus a team that we just have ROBAR there for the damage burst instead. So no stun, which is a shame because he does benefit from it a lot. So here, let's just do the AoE now. Look at that, about 70,000, managed to kill most of the team but not kill Arbiter. So if she was a little bit faster, she could have went in there and revived everyone and possibly lost us the fight. So definitely needs way better gear than the one I have equipped on him. So maybe cruel sets, savage sets, if you want to build him as your soul nuker. So definitely don't go the accuracy route as I did, because the accuracy route really depends on doing your A2 and A1, and that's mostly for dungeons. You won't be using your A2 or your A1 in arena unless it's for finishing off targets. So let's go in here first to the dragon dungeon. So we'll use the stunner that we just had, and then let's use, well, ROBAR doesn't benefit from that, so we'll go in with this team instead. And I really want to see what he can do here. So we go down with the defense, and we can, there's the stun on everybody. That's good. So let's see what we can do to the whole wave. Look at that, 150,000. Didn't really clear the wave, but we're just gonna see what he can do next when he does get another 10. No, I'm not gonna use my A2. He did get the kills, so he should be able to, let's see, boom, look at that, 56k from his A1. So here next, we're going to have Venus do her A2. Let's go with Sal with the stuns again. Didn't get everybody stunned, so let's see if we can actually clear these guys with the increased damage from the Mastery now. 150,000, the most we did. I think with better gear, with like 5,000 and maybe a cruel set here or there, maybe even a savage set, while also maintaining maybe that accuracy could be enough to clear these guys for sure. So it's definitely a gear issue for me, not really showcasing his full potential. But then again, not everybody will have the top end gear. They will just pick up ROBAR, and they want to see what he can do with that amount of stats without cruel sets or savage sets. So here, okay, going into it again, I want to see what we can do with that stun. Can we get a funny moment similar to what Hell Hades had? If you watch Hell Hades, you would remember a video that he had with ROBAR where he just got like 15 turns in a row or something. So let's see if we can actually get it with our ROBAR here. Got an extra turn there with Sal. So what ROBAR does with his A1 is this 50% chance 50% chance of placing the stun, grants an extra turn if this debuff is successfully placed. So ideally you would be going to either neutral or weak targets. Don't go against strong targets, because if you don't land a normal hit, which would have been a crit for myself, you would land a weak hit, and that unfortunately won't make you land a stun, and you won't get that extra turn. So let's see, can we get a stun? No stun there. So let's just wait for his next turn. Okay, can we get a reset here? Okay, let's just boost everyone. So yeah, let's get a stun. Come on, 50% chance. We got an extra turn. Look at that. You can actually go to the next target now and try to get a stun again. Gain more control. Look at that, extra turn. So let's go to another target. Extra turn there. So 3, 4, 5, 6. Six stuns. So this is the most fun you can have with the champion. Just you can use this guy on a manual setup, even in Faction Wars, and just go single targetly stunning each enemy with that 50% chance, and that will actually be a ton of fun. So imagine if you instead want to go with the stun set with him, so you can actually stun with your other skills, and then when his A1 is up, you can go in there. The stun set will not add to your chance to stun, but it still will be considered as a different chance. And if I'm not mistaken, the chance to stun will first be calculated through the set, And if it's not stunned through the set, then it's considered a normal hit, and that's when your actual hit comes into play. So definitely a fun way to use this champion to control the enemies. So here, let's just do the same thing again. Let's just stun. Okay, we only got one stun from Sal. So let's see if we can get some stuns again as before. So extra turn, didn't get an extra turn there. So we only stunned 2 of the five enemies there. But it is a lot of fun to play around with this champion, with this build. That's where the accuracy comes into play. So without accuracy, you wouldn't be able to do this on Dungeons 20, unfortunately. So here I think he tried to do his A2, or it must have been his A3. So yeah, here's his A2. He did apply the decreased defense. No real big numbers without defense down already. So you can't really use him as a nuker and also depend on his defense down, because he needs to do his defense down first and then his A3, which is not the case with his AI. He goes with his A3 first, then his A2 for some reason, and then he'll do the A1 because everything else will be on cooldown. Look at that. He killed the target, so he didn't get the stun, so he didn't get an extra turn, which kind of sucks. So guys, this was the showcase for ROBAR. What do you think of the champion? Do you enjoy using him, and how do you have him built? Leave it down in the comments below. Do you use him differently than me? Do you use a different set? I want to hear all about that. So I have enjoyed using ROBAR in this showcase. I would say his A1 is the most crazy thing that he has in terms of his kit. Unfortunately, the way that his AI works, going with A3 first instead of his A2, is not ideal in terms of having him as a nuker. He's more used as a utility champion, I would say, for more defense down and stun. So as a secondary champion who can also nuke maybe with his A3 once a stun, sleep, or freeze is applied. So definitely do not go with your best gear on him. I would say go as a secondary support champion to clear off targets. So let's say use him in an Astralon team. So you can have Astralon go in there with the stun, and then ROBAR basically for the cleanup with the A3, and also potential utility with his A1 and A2. So thank you guys for watching this showcase video of ROBAR. Subscribe if you haven't already, and guys, I'll see you in the next one. See ya!